On the bench today we've got another Partscaster. This time it's a Tele Partscaster. This one is some aftermarket Fender products, so licensed Fender neck. This one's a Mighty Might, I think, and I believe this is an Eden body. The customers brought it in to put all the wiring together and make a new nut, put the tuners in, basically just get it all ready. The neck's been bolted on, that's about it really. He has shaped some of this body out. I think it was him, either him or the previous person who bought this as a project. I'm not quite sure, but they've done some drilling out to accommodate the pickups. Is what it is, but it'll work. So I'm just going to put this together and get it all wired up, yeah, I'm just, sometimes Telecasters have a channel for an earth through here to the third screw holding the bridge down, or sometimes I just have a drilled out channel through here. This one doesn't, because it uses this aftermarket pickup, and it's usually just soldered to the back plate here. So it's got a metal black back plate, and that earths through this screw, which of course earths the strings. However, this pickup, you can see the original earth there that would have been soldered there. Whoever owned this pickup before, I think, may have had it wired so it was out of phase, and that's why this earth loop has been installed from here to where the original was to the hot side, and then the hot wire will then become the ground, and the ground will become the hot, so it was wired out of phase. So I'll have to send a message to the customer who owns this now and see if he wants it kept out of phase, or whether he wants this reverted back to an in-phase wiring. So we'll get to that at some stage. Other than that, we have to set up the control cavity plate with all the controls and get it wired, and we're going to do a traditional style Tele wiring with a vintage oil and paper cap and treble bleed. Okay, so I've quickly just sent a message to the customer and see if he actually wants this wired out of phase. If he doesn't, we'll remove that and put the original earth back on. So we'll just leave that for now until he gets back to us, and we'll move on to the switch plate, and we'll get this prepared and ready for wiring. So I'm using one of my own tone caps. It's a vintage Russian paper and oil cap, some CTS pots, and our three-way switch. Our three-way switch is an American made three-way switch. I don't use imports wherever possible. Oh yeah. So we can pre-wire this as much as we can before we put that in. I should show you this cup. This is a really good Tele cup. It's already threaded. I use a Switchcraft jack. So you just thread it in. To where you want it, nice and flush, and then you use the original locking nut to go backwards to tighten it against the cup. So I'll make up a quick little lead for that input jack. much. We want enough to go to our controls and enough to be able to pull it out a little bit. So that should be enough. That's about 150 millimeters. Now we're going to wire this to original Telecaster specs with the 0.1 capacitor on the volume pot, which means I have to go through my capacitors and find one, so I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so I've got my 1 nanofarad ceramic capacitor. That's for our volume pot, and we're going to use a 0.047 farad pickup for the tone. The 1 nanofarad goes here, and then our tone pot sort of goes on this middle post to the third post on the volume pot. And to work out the three-way, you watch the contact post. So this is in the bridge position, and you can see that it's connected here and here. When we move to the middle position, you can see it's connected here and here. And then to the bridge position, to the neck position, it's connected here and here. Well, also on the other side, we're connected to these three as well. So from the bridge position, we're connected here, then here, then here for our neck position. So you have to correlate from this side to this side. Now the constant is this one, so in every position it's connected, and then again this one is connected. This is our constant. These are our two constants. So in this position, in the neck position, we're connected to this one and this one. Therefore, if we go to our middle, we're now connected to this one and this one. So you see this is position 1, position 2, position 3, position 1, position 2, position 3. So we just have to correlate that when we're in our bridge position, we're only connected to our bridge pin. In the central, we want to be connected to both, which is this one and this one. So you would have this connected to here and this connected to here. Therefore, when you go to here in the neck position, you're no longer connected here or here, and you're only connected to here. Does that make sense? So that this post here, this one here, sorry, needs to be connected to here, and this one needs to be connected to here. So that way when we're in our middle position, both pickups are connected. I hope that makes sense. You just have to trust me on it. So you can see on this wiring diagram, here is our switch, those lugs that I was showing you. Our hot goes into our volume and comes out of our volume onto our constant. And we connect the two sides because this is our other constant. Remember how I was showing you that this one and this one are both constant? And so the bridge pickup, our hot wire comes in and is connected to here and here, which would be here and here, those two. Our neck pickup, the hot wire comes out and connects here, which will be here. These two here. So remember I was saying you have to connect both of those so that when you get into our middle position, both the neck and the bridge, or the neck and the bridge, are connected. So I hope that makes a little bit of sense. And the reason you connect these two is because these two sides are not connected together. So we just connect them together here. That's that circuit done. So that's pretty much it for wiring until we put the pickups in. So at this stage we'll just wait and see whether he wants that bridge pickup to be in or out of phase, and we'll get back to you. Okay, so here's our wired control plate. These are CTS pots. We're using 500K, which is not traditional. However, we want that greater control, so we've opted to go with the 500s to give us that bigger range in resistance. Here is our tone cap. This is a vintage Russian oil and paper cap, which I stockpiled many of them for, so hopefully I've got enough of those for the rest of my career. Here's our three-way switching. So you can see that I've connected the two sides of the pallet of the board together with this wire here, and here is our output. So our pickup inputs will go here, and that will join to there, and here, which will join to there, which will give us our control. And then the output comes through here and into pin 1 of our volume control. So it's under there, and then it also comes out of that input across to pin 3 on our tone control potentiometer. Now it's on pin 3 because we want it to be a decreasing resistance rather than increasing resistance. So on a potentiometer, the middle post is your output, and whether you go pin 1 or pin 3 determines whether it's ascending or descending in resistance. So for tone, we want the input to be on pin 3, not pin 1, and I just trim pin 1 off. It takes the frequencies and passes them through this cap and sends them to the opposite side of our volume control, which is grounded to the back. Our volume control has this 1 nanofarad capacitor bridging between the input and output, which will take some of those high frequencies and send them straight to the output for our treble bleed system. You can see that I've got the two pots connected via earth, and then the volume earths connected here, and the earths the grounds rather, from the pickups I'll solder to the other side of this pickup here, this potentiometer here, which will link them all together. And that's pretty much it. That's the wiring, or actually the output from the volume is this white lead, which will go to our input jack, which is the output for the sound, and its ground is also connected here on this pin, which is connected through to the body of the potentiometer. So we'll get that installed after we do the pickups, and we'll just wait and see whether we're doing that the bridge pickup in phase or out of phase. So hopefully that gives you some idea of how the tone circuit works, a simple tone circuit and simple volume circuit. There's plenty of other information online as well, so any questions, I'll try and answer them.